Like a wonderful family potluck, these developers keep on bringing new ingredients in the form of games to the table. Nintendo Switch sees 7 new titles, and we are talking all about them. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Gabe is here. 5 of these are brand spanking new, never before discussed or heard from, and 2 have updated information and release dates. So we're going to start off with the unknown titles that were recently revealed. And the first one is probably the coolest and definitely the most colorful on the list, and that is The Blob. You may remember this squishy platformer from the Wii back in 2008, and then there was a sequel, and then there was a remastered version of the original released on PS4 and Xbox One. Now THQ Nordic says that the crazy, colorful cast is coming to Switch in 2018.
Yes, I played this back on the 360. It might have been the sequel, but it's a lot of fun. This existed before Splatoon, and it has a similar vibe. You just go around like splatting, not necessarily ink. In this case, it's just like, I don't know, blob stuff. It's very, very colorful. It's really fun to play multiplayer, and it's going to have split screen on Nintendo Switch, which is going to be great because I like getting people together to play these fun local multiplayer things on Switch. I think it's going to fit in like absolutely perfectly, and again, it just looks so much like Splatoon.
Yeah, it was the Splatoon before Splatoon, and who doesn't want to have a party with people you love where you get to play with blob stuff? So that is coming. We'll have, when they release updated information on release date, we'll keep you posted. But that's kind of a cool one, and now it can sit side by side as a very, very, very vibrant game next to Splatoon. All right, next up, we have Tiny Build, who had their presentation of their own, like their own freaking indie show. They're like the buildies, the tiny buildies. They dropped 6 games, or announced 6 games are coming to Switch, and 2 of them stand out to me. The first being Cluster Truck, which is a chaotic physics truck former, where you play a game of the floor is lava while jumping on trucks driven by terrible drivers. It's coming out in March. It's $15. It previously released on other platforms. It got really good reviews. I never played it, but it's something that I definitely am going to be downloading on Switch.
Yeah, this looks like it'd be a good time. It reminds me of some of those like hand simulator type games where you're like gonna like die a whole lot, but that's okay. It's part of the experience. And yeah, the floor is lava, Zach. Never step on the floor.
I like to play those games when I was little. I would also play this weird one with my teeth where like the road was lava, so I would have to like jump over the road with my like biting down in the car. I don't know. Maybe this doesn't translate.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
But I do like that we're getting a blobby platformer and a trucky platformer. But let's take things to a non-platformer direction with another Tiny Build title, and that's Streets of Rogue. I saw a lot of people hoping that this one would be announced. Personally, I wanted speedrunners. I'm still gutted that they did not get that on Switch yet. But Streets of Rogue is described as fight, sneak, and hack your way through randomly generated cities. It's like Nuclear Throne meets Deus Ex, mixed with the anarchy of GTA. Roguelite meets immersive sim, and goes completely insane. Later this year, $15. It's on other platforms, has really good reviews, and it looks, Gabe, again, like something that you would love.
Well, and you, because this reminds me of Enter the Gungeon, a game that you absolutely adore. And this kind of like looks a lot like it. Unfortunately, like games like this are very common on Switch, and we know that people like are starting to feel a type of way about that, and we'll discuss that in another video. But if it's of good quality, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and this one definitely is. No date, as I mentioned, but $15, and it combines a whole bunch of genres into one. Now, a title that is definitely one genre, and that's the puzzle genre, but it's one of my favorite genres, actually, especially in portable mode, and that is going to be Shift Quantum. It's releasing this spring. It's hitting other platforms, but it's also, of course, coming to our beautiful Nintendo Switch, and it reminds me a lot of just a bunch of games mixed together. I'm a big fan of like Braid. I'm a big fan of games where you get to rotate the environment, and in this one, you play Subject 32763, and twist your environment and bend your mind in a whole lot of brain-drilling levels.
Yes, and you can customize your own levels, and it looks like you're going to die an awful lot. Aesthetically, like this is also like very pretty. The black and white are the colors that are used, and just like the shifting of the aspect of the level. That's also an interesting little gameplay mechanic that I can't wait to see how it plays out.
I just want to see what happens when your brain is drilled, Gabe.
That's fine.
When we drill beneath the surface and shift the world, twist your environment, bend your mind, what do we learn?
Everything and nothing.
We also learned this week that Smoke and Sacrifice is coming to Switch in 2018. It is a brand new survival RPG from Curve Digital, and it's hitting all consoles, and it looks really freaking cool. It reminds me of, like, Don't Starve fused with Salt and Sanctuary fused with, like, a slightly, like, Dark Souls, Bloodborne-y vibe. I don't know. It has a really nifty art style that from afar looks very typical, but if you zoom in on the screenshots and look at the footage more carefully, it's actually like a very artsy look, and I really dig it.
Yes, even the gameplay, like the combat looks cool because the visuals aren't as important when you're just like standing there talking, which that seems to happen a lot. But there's a lot of little like cool magic effects, and the difficulty is probably going to be there because it does have like roguelike elements, and it's a narrative-driven like RPG. So I love those. We'll see how this goes, and it's very like steampunky mixed with like traditional something else. I don't know, but it looks great.
Yeah, it's almost like Bloodborne meets steampunk, which is a really cool mix. And I like the fact that it's a narrative-driven RPG that still has the crafting, the survival elements. That's kind of a unique, or a more unique combo. A fun fact's also about Square Enix Collective announcing Fear Effect Sedna hitting the Switch on March the 6th. This game actually looks really cool. Fear Effect is a pretty popular series. I've never played it, but I like the idea of being able to try and interact with all these different characters, keep them alive. Again, they're bringing in adrenaline, mature stories, mercenaries, Gabe, all sorts of things that are just going to tantalize your mind.
The cutscenes like look like really cool, like the animation style. It is like a top-down game, so pay attention to the trailer, watch the actual gameplay so you can see what it's going to be like. But it looks like it could be unique, right?
I think it's going to be really fun. Square has shown a lot of commitment to Switch, especially on the downloadable front. Things like I Am Setsuna, Lost Sphere, and now Fear Effect Sedna. So keep your eyes peeled for that one coming in a couple weeks, I guess. Malacca is a game that was announced at one of the initial Nindies conferences, and it's finally hitting on March 1st. Now, this one's a bit of a weird situation because it launches on PS4 and PC on the 27th of February. March 1st on Switch, and then March 2nd on Xbox One. So all sorts of dates. You've got a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. But this is like an open world, movement-based game with a lot of mythology and a lot of very cool colors. It does have a cool cover if you look at the eShop as well. But it's based on the real-life landscapes of northern Mexico, which I think is kind of a cool place to draw inspiration from and something we don't see often in games.
Yeah, and it's puzzle-based. You're going to be solving puzzles in the environments. Again, inspired by real, I'm going to mess the pronunciation, Tarahumara locations. And this was like Jake's game. Remember when it first got announced? We equated it to like, hey, Jake, because Jake loves like animals in the wilderness and things like that. So just shout out to Jake. But I'm actually kind of excited about this. And I've been in northern Mexico, I think.
Yeah, so you got the 3D world exploration, you've got demigod transformations, puzzle solving, crafting. It looks really cool, and I hope it actually turns out to be of quality. I feel like a lot of the games that were announced in the Nindies presentations have a little bit better chance of being quality because you feel like Nintendo has vetted them. But as always, it's nice to see these things just drop out of nowhere. Hey, it's coming out in a couple weeks. That's always fun. And we are going to ask you now, which of these 7 are you most excited for? Which ones do you plan on picking up? Is it The Blob? Is it freaking Cluster Truck or Streets of Rogue? Is it Shift Quantum, Smoke and Sacrifice, Fear Effect Sedna, or Malacca? Also, I want to include this at the very end. One game is not coming to Switch, and it's a notable one because there's been a number of rumors, a number of quote leaks about it, and that is Hearthstone. Blizzard says it's not coming to Switch, so you can put that one to bed. No Hearthstone on Switch. 7 games coming, 1 game not coming. It's like 7 steps forward, 1 step back. So all in all, we've taken 6 steps and 6 sips towards Switch glory, and we hope that you will come back for at least 6 more videos. So make sure to subscribe to Switch Force to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch, new game announcements, and new game de-announcements, like Hearthstone. Until that time, everybody, for myself and Gabe, thanks so much for watching. We love you a lot. Switch Force, out.